Hello everybody, Reggie Time here, and we are playing some 10 PLO today on Unibet. I am not very good at PLO, so expect to see an awful lot of fucking rubbish play from me. But hopefully we can get lucky and make some money whilst hopefully making an entertaining video. We started yesterday, I think, with something like 72 euros in the account. I played a couple of sessions yesterday, and now we're up to 110 euros at the start of the session. Would be 120, but I played a 10 euro tournament last night and did fuck all in it. I'll be playing the same tournament again tonight, assuming we don't bust 10 buy-ins in this session, or 10 buy-ins at PLO during the day. Don't think this is a C-bet. No idea though, don't think it is. Very weak made hand, no draw. I think PLO, my attitude towards it is it's a game of like, it's not like Hold'em when you have like a hand pre-flop, if you will. You don't really get dealt hands in PLO, in my opinion. You get dealt draws, and I think the best players that make the money are the players that play like the strongest drawing hands and don't get too sucked into weak starting holdings that don't have much nut potential. I try and stick to that when I play, but then after a while, when I start seeing showdowns of people playing hands that they really shouldn't be playing, I then get sucked into playing hands that I shouldn't be playing also. I think stuff like this, I'm not sure. I mean, it feels like it's a raise. It's like very connected. You've got the 6, 7, 10, we've got the nut flush draw, etc. Don't know if it's correct to play this hand under the gun or not, but we're going to play it anyway. This seems like a very strong hand. So we're going to 3-bet. I'm going to open and a straight draw here. I'm going to call once because I don't like our outs don't seem that clean. Got second nut flush draw here. We're just going to check it back though. If we had the nut flush draw, I'd probably bet. Second nut flush draw, we'll just check. We'll just check back. Not going to raise, and now we're not going to raise a river either. We do have a second nut flush, and we block him having like a 10. I mean, I guess we bet here and fold to a raise. Well, yeah. My PLO game is not strong, so I'm likely to make lots of mistakes. My only hope is that there are plenty of even less experienced players in the games than me who are going to make even bigger mistakes than me. That's all we can hope for the time being. If I ever got around to learning the game, I'm sure that wouldn't be the case, but I never really have put very much effort into learning the game, despite wanting to. I think the reason why I struggle at PLO is that I have a really strong mental game in No Limit Hold'em. I rarely tilt. I get annoyed, I get pissed off, I get frustrated, like everybody else does, but it doesn't really affect the quality of my play in No Limit Hold'em. Whereas in PLO, I can go off the rails quite quickly sometimes. The injustice tilt seems real. I see lots of players playing all sorts of hands that I think, wow, what the fuck, how can you make money playing them, etc. And then I, as we talked about a minute ago, get sucked into starting to play in really shit hands too, and then get myself into all kinds of spots post flop that I just simply do not have the skills to negotiate correctly. This isn't the start of a PLO odyssey for me. It's just I fancy playing a little bit, and it makes for a different video, I guess. I'm trying to be as disciplined, read that as disciplined or nitty as I want to. Another thing I'm not doing that I used to do is opening for pot. I used to open for pot all the time, Um, because basically I saw, what's he called? Oh, the German guy who fell out with Doug Polk. Anyway, we'll get back to that in a minute. We have the nut flush draw here and the top pair. Guess we're going to be raising the flop and getting it in. I think like a pair and a top pair and a nut flush draw is probably too much equity to get away from here. And we win anyway. Fernando, what's his face? But that's not what he goes by on Newsfeed, is it? Anyways, he used to say, you should always open for pot. But we're watching Phil Galfond a lot recently, and he appears to not raise pot pre-flop, and I'm not for a second saying that Fernando's a bad PLO player, but I know Phil Galfond's a very good one, and I've seen him opening for less than pot. And I like the idea of opening for less than pot because it means we can defend versus more 3-bets and still have like a reasonable SPR post flop. Makes sense to me, feels good to me. Might be incorrect. Might be misinterpreting why Galfond opens for less than pot. It's not just in the higher stakes games to see him opening less than pot. I've seen him doing it when he's been playing his like 25 PLO2 on his site run it once. Doesn't seem to open for full pot very often. Do we want to set mine here with these two tens? Crap draws? I don't think so. We would have flopped top set, of course, but I'm not sure that's. I think that's still a correct fold. It's such a weak hand that Queen 4, 10, 10, one suit feels like a weak hand to me, or a weak holding. Obviously, when you flop top set, it's disappointing that you're not in the pot anymore, but it shouldn't take away from our pre-flop decision. Here again, we have the ace and the queen suited, but we have two dreadful side cards, so we're going to let them go. PLO is definitely the sort of game where you need your hand to be multifaceted. I mean, these, I just don't know if these are defends or not. I mean, we have a nut flush draw, we have a few straight draw stuff going on, so I guess we see a flop with it. Backdoor nut flush draw and a gut shot. We're going to stab this flop. Don't expect to get too many folds, but I think it's fine to stab it anyway. This dude's been opening a lot of pots. We have three to Broadway and a nut flush draw going on, so we're going to at least see one more. See three cards at least. We already have a gut shot here, do we? Oh, do we have? Oh, we have two pairs as well. See, these are spots that I just don't understand because he's bet full pot. We have two pairs and a gut shot. I mean, I guess we call once and fold to a big river bet. We improve to a slightly better two pair here, but we're not even top two pair, are we? This might be a mistake to fold, but we're going to do it anyway. There's a very weak top pair here, nothing much else going on. Let it go. I'd probably rather lean towards overfolding than defending too many hands in spots where I'm just not going to know how to proceed on future streets. I'm going to make some mistakes. I'd probably rather make mistakes overfolding, even though in PLO, I guess you make quite a lot of your money from having people fold decent chunks of equity, so I could well be folding a lot of my equity away, but when we're out of position and we're going to have a hard time realising that equity anyway, then perhaps it's not such a bad thing. Again, don't know. Could be talking right out of the top of my head there. So here we have pretty rubbish open ender with no backdoors. I don't even know. I mean, we call here, he probably raises with them, we probably have to fold, and then we just touch 3.7 big blinds. Because we can only really be happy on a offsuit 6 turn here, really. We're not going to be that happy on a jack. Yeah, we just basically, and then we get the offsuit 6, but we would have lost anyway. 7, 7, 10. Now this guy seems spewy, so we're going to try and flop a set, which we do. Pretty dry board, so I'm not going to raise too big here. This looks pretty, but it's like two separate hands, and it's a king, queen, and the 5, 6. Yeah, we have a suit. One of them, we have two relatively decent suits. I'm not sure. I mean, that's probably an open. Look at this. How many decent hands are we folding away here? This time we fold the trips with the second nut flush draw away. Third nut flush draw, sorry. Maybe I'm too nitty for PLO. Call with the open ender here. This is a small turn bet. Completely miss. I'm not going to try and bluff multi-way. This is a 3 bet. Don't know. Do it anyway. I'd rather it was double suited, but we do have a very attractive rundown. And then completely whiff the flop. Not going to be c-betting here either. I'm just not strong enough. Our hand's nowhere near strong enough to justify betting here, I don't think. In this hand's another one that looks pretty, but none of our draws are going to be to the nuts. With these sort of like gaps, you're going to flop a lot of good shots and like some like weak draws, and possibly end up putting a lot of money in with hands that look pretty on the flop, but quite possibly do really poorly in terms of equity against opponents' betting ranges. This video is intended to be approximately an hour long. It's currently, it says 10:31 GMT there. That is completely incorrect. It's actually 11:31 GMT. And my daily politics show starts in 45 minutes. I intend to be stopping recording before that starts. Jack, Jack, King 10 has to be an open, surely. Although we have no suit going on whatsoever. Easy to call. Is it a fold? Don't know. Call anyway. Flop a good shot and a shit flush draw. He leads out pretty big. Peel 1, I think. Then we have 2 pairs, which is likely the best hand. I mean, we're ahead of Ace Ace XX now. I would easily could have like a better 2 pair, but we have 2 pair, gut shot, and a flush draw in a 3-bet pot. So I'm just going to go with it, and we take it down. I guess if he calls there, we're going to be dead a lot of the time, unless he's just going to call it off there with dryish aces. Obviously we need to squeeze with the aces. These are situations where I get in loads of trouble post flop because when I miss I have no idea how to proceed. Like now, for example, we're at a position to 2 players. It's not very hard for either of them to have an 8 in their hand. We have like almost no equity. I mean, our aces are just crap here now. I think it feels like the crap. See absolutely no purpose in betting. Check folding seems weak, but that's what I'm going to do. Check back these aces because I have no idea how to play them. Checking back the turn too. Probably need to call the river, I guess, given how weak we played it. Been donked into here. We have a gut shot, backdoor flush draw that isn't any good. Fold. Check back the aces again because I've no idea what I'm fucking doing. And we would have lost to whatever that was that beat us there. What was it that beat us there? 7, 8, 5, 10. He delivered 2 pairs with 7, 5. Gonna value bet our ace 10 here. Not to get picked off by like ace queen, ace king, ace jack type stuff. And we did. Should have been a raise here and then a small 3-bet and a call. Don't much want to call. Betting's reopened then if he pots it, etc. So I'm just going to make a very nitty 4 with bad kings out of position. Now these are easy. We've got top set. I can cope with top set. I know how to play a top set. We just bet. Would have flopped trips down here with our 2 kings. And our shitty side card. And we would have lost to the nuts, or the virtual nuts. particularly want to play three-handed PLO. So I think we'll leave this table and join another one. Face a donk bet here with our kings and threes. Probably drawing very thin, so we'll just let it go. Playing three-handed here now as well, which isn't how I want my life to be proceeding. We do have another table here now to slide in. Not a lot of back doors here, but not much front door stuff, so we'll let it go. What do we have here? Nothing. Nothing at all, so we'll let that go. And we're going to check fold down here. Oh no, we're not, because we won. We're not going to check fold because he checks back a losing hand. Here we have top set and the low end of an open and straight draw. Can't be too disappointed with that. Still have the nuts. Here we flop wrap, I believe it's called. Kick it off with a bet. Particularly enjoy getting raised here. Bonus points. How delightful. This dude's playing a lot of hands, so by that I'm going to assume he's playing lots of hands he shouldn't be playing, but lots of them are going to contain an ace, and we have really poor equity versus an ace. And the double suited aces is definitely going to be a hand I'm going to want to 3-bet. And given we think this guy's a bit of an action player, we're going to go with the maximum size available to us. And these are the kind of flops that I tend to typically get in trouble on. And against this dude, just going to go with it and get tilted, I imagine, when he beats us. Top pair, backdoor, nut flush draw, and an overpair. And he just donks big and folds, which I'm more than happy with. I think perhaps 4 tables of PLO is too much for me. Sometimes I'm looking at hands and not having a fucking clue where I am in them, what the pre-flop action was. One thing we're not going to be doing is playing heads up PLO. River a wheel, which we're going to value bet when we start our tables out. We're not going to value bet. It's going to call here. And of course, he potted the river with the nuts. Wonder how often in microstakes PLO, when the river gets potted, it isn't the nuts. Probably not too often, would be my guess. I think, by the way, if we do manage to turn this initial small deposit into a reasonable roll on Unibet, I'm going to start full on well, not full on, but some multi-site play. Last night was a good example of how that can work well. It was about 12:30 in the morning, 1 in the morning. I just felt like playing poker. But there wasn't much going on Sky, so I loaded up 4 tables of 10L on Unibet just to accompany the 2 or 3 tables I had going on Sky, and I managed to turn that into a 4-hour session, which I made £100 in across the 2 sites. In a situation where quite often it's just a 3-bet. Fuck it, we'll do it anyway. Where quite often I which wouldn't have bothered, I'd have been sat looking at 2 tables on Sky that were going quite slowly and just thought, fuck it, let's do something else. So I think and just having Unibet on the side for tabling low stakes just to keep me occupied. I mean, I'm not expecting to make a ton of money in them games, especially at 10 and L, but just if it keeps the sessions going in when I'm at good tables too, then I think it can definitely be a positive thing. What do we have here? We have two pairs and a double gut shot. Just going to continue checking. I don't think we can get called by worse too often, and being raised would hurt my feelings. We do river the nuts. I'm going to check one last time, try and get a check raise in. It's probably got the same hand, I guess. This is just going to be a Jack 10 versus a Jack 10 thing. We're going to raise small load just to give him chance to call with some worse hands rather than raise full pot, which probably makes everything except Jack 10 fold. I mean, I think when we check raise the river there, we'll face up as Jack 10 anyway. But if we pot it, we make it much easier for people to fold two pairs and sets than if we make it smaller than pot. I was going to play a 10 NL plus Sky session this morning, but I logged on to Sky at 11 AM and there was literally one player sitting at 20 NL with no games running, just one player trying to start a table, and at 30 NL there was one table with three players, two of those players were regulars, and I just was like, what the fuck? Come on, Sky. The breakdown of Sky microstates cash games is starting to alarm me now. It seems to be like less and less times during the week where you can get in good games. Seems to be more and more downtime on there in terms of like when it's playable for me. Not downtime in terms of the site crashing, just there seems to be less opportunities for me to play in the types of games I want to play in if I'm going to be playing on Sky's quite awful software. Backdoor non-nut flush draw here, and just backdoor straight draws, nothing else. So we shall fold. The check raise goes in on the flop. The rest is going to go in on the turn, I would presume. Let's see what we're up against. Top set versus two pairs plus straight draws. Which is not that surprising, to be honest. So we have a wrap here. I think it's a wrap anyway. Certainly we have a decent straight draw. Might not technically be a wrap. Not fully au fait with PLO terminology. That board pairing the turn doesn't feel good. Feels like we're not going to have that much fold equity on it, and it now significantly reduces the strength of our draw, and we now literally have nothing. I mean, this dude can just have some like missed flush draws with some weak showdown value here, but is he going to bet it on the river? I mean, for example, if he's got like say Queen Queen here, is he going to bet? Can we try and make him fold a hand like Queen Queen? Is he just going to call too often with Jack X? Yeah, it'd be pretty dreadful, wouldn't it, I think? I mean, if we can get him to fold like Queen, Queen, King, King there or something, then it's maybe worth trying to do. But how often do people value betting those hands? Probably not as often as they should. and then how often are they going to like just have a jack there and just not fold it? It's one of those spots where it feels like you can't be very strong, decent spot to try and like bluff raise, given that we don't really block many of the draws he could have had, or we certainly don't block flush draws that he could have had. So it's one of the spots where you think, oh, it might not be a bad spot to raise, but then people just don't fold the hand you're trying to make them fold anyway. Do I want to 3-bet this hand or just call? I want to 3-bet it just to try and like fold out people behind us. Try and get the pot heads up. Again here we drop to playing short-handed. So what have we got here? Not much going on. Bottom pair, some backdoors. So we're going to check it back. Graded to a gut shot and a flush draw. Shit gut shot. Shit, well, not a shit gut shot. It's a gut shot to the nuts. We have a pair, a gut shot to the nuts, and a shit flush draw. Don't think we can fold just yet. Now we have 2 pairs, and I feel unpleasant. I feel like this can't be a call on the river. I'm trying to think of the stuff, value hands that we can beat here that you can have. I'm not sure many of those exist. Is your value betting 1 pair here? We block his draws very hard, I think. I just don't think this can be a call. Don't think it can be a call. Could be wrong. Didn't feel like it could be a call to me. Slide that table in there. Beautiful. Top pair and a flush draw. South with the bet. Turn the second nuts. Get that into call. Get that into call again and find a total bluff. Which confounds what I said earlier about how often are people betting big on rivers in PLO and bluffing. Oh, we just found someone doing it. Two pairs here we bet, we get raised. Just fuck it off. Rip of the second nuts here. Win again. Maybe I'm being a little bit too passive with second nutted hands. Certainly acting too quickly on both of them. That's what I fucking know for sure. I mean, it feels like we can't really raise second nuts for value too often in PLO, but happy to be corrected on that. Especially on that hand there, this one, when at the line he took, he like bet out from the flop. So in this hand, when he like leads out on this flop and then the backdoor flush comes home, it's more likely that he's got like a made hand from the flop than backed into the nuts. Maybe I was too hasty there. Maybe we could have got a raise in here against his exact hand. Maybe we would get paid 2. I think that snap call on the river was too hasty. Just something I always used to tell people when I was doing work with people was don't rush your decisions. It's exactly what I just did. That's a rubbish flop with that hand. Look at that hand, how gorgeous it is. And then it comes a 7-8-8 against somebody who is just pretty wild. We're just going to check fold it. And bet this turn. Fold it. To a raise. If we get called, just check back rivers. Do feel slightly more comfortable using these smaller open sizings. Feels like it helps control pots just a little bit better maybe. Quite often when I play PLO I can feel like pots get out of control pretty quickly, which leads me to make lots of bad decisions. I suppose you could probably make decent win rate in these games playing a relatively nitty style and just waiting for players, like really weak players, to make big mistakes. Don't think we can just allow this size to go against this player who is like really wild. Excuse me. Didn't really want to make the flush on the end. We're just going to have to pay this guy off, I think. This hand doesn't seem that great to play out of position, but we do have 3 to Broadway. Flop 2 pair, no idea how to continue with it. Guess we're going to peel 1 with our backdoor flush draw 2. Our backdoor straight draws. Stab here. And now we're just going to check fold. with just 15 minutes to go. At least we haven't torched the bankroll, which is a good thing. I'll open this. Feels kind of like it's one of the weaker hands we're going to want to open from this position. The 6 doesn't help, really. The King Jack 9's nice with the suit, but the 6 isn't helping much. I'm going to have to defend versus this quite small 3-bet. And we're just going to check fold our shitty flush draw. Flop pretty nicely here. We're going to go for a check raise here with our straight and nut flush draw. Turn the nuts, which is pleasant. And our opponent folds. Don't suppose that's ever a bad thing in PLO. It's well, not certainly. He might have been drawing dead there, but having people fold equity even when we have the nuts isn't necessarily a terrible thing. How fucking nitty does that sound? But that's how I think. Fold our bottom 2 here. Bottom 2 pair in PLO is nowhere near as attractive as it is in no limit hold'em. Going to be incredibly vulnerable on coordinated boards. Do we isolate or overlimp here? I don't think isolation's a thing in PLO. We flop some kind of straight draw that we're going to make a stab with. We have our backdoor flush draw as backup and a pair. I mean, we could still be ahead here of this dude, but it's going to be really hard to continue against someone who applies a lot of pressure. We do turn a straight, need to look if it's the nuts, and it is. But our backdoor equity has disappeared. Not sure if this is a good bet or not. We have like top pair, no kicker. Well, not no kicker, but not good kickers. Get called in 2 spots, so it's pretty confident our hand is not good here. Overpair, backdoor flush draw and top pair, but don't feel strong enough to bet. We can bet now we turn 2 pairs. Probably going to fold if he bombs his turn. expect to be folding the best hand a reasonable amount of the time, but the pot would end up getting too big for our actual hand. Probably going to fold the river too. Do not want to be paying off one pair very often at PLO, even versus people who are confirmed maniacs. You can have better spots to call down versus this dude than just top pair. This feels like a very weak open on table 2. Perhaps it's even a fold. See, these small mistakes pre-flop opening hands you shouldn't be opening can quite often lead us to getting into more trouble post-flop. It's not going to be the case this time because we've been squeezed and we have a very easy fold. I think that was a particularly bad open to begin with there, I feel. In fact, I think it was probably a terrible open. All the money's going in, so we know at least one of them has aces. And the other one has king 5, 10 deuce and just gets there. LOL PLO. I believe that is a term used in the PLO streets. Almost daily politics time. Hope you guys have enjoyed watching this video as much as I've enjoyed playing the session. It's been a relatively stress-free session. Obviously got to squeeze the double suited aces here. I mean, against this guy, just pot it and don't fold, I guess. Top set, well played. I'm glad that's happened towards the end of the session because that would have been a lot more irritating at the start of the session. I mean, against a lot of players I probably wouldn't even see bet the aces there. But against this dude who's just playing like way too many hands with only 50 blinds behind, I don't think it's bad. Not sure if this is a good call. We do have a nut flush draw and 3 straight cards, 3 straightening cards, although they're not very well connected. Turn 2 pair. It's not the nuts by a long way. Haven't reloaded here, which isn't ideal. I mean, now what? I guess you just go all in. We have a second pair and an over pair. 8, 7, king 8. So we beat him, do we? Oh, we beat them all. We beat them all. Happy days. What did people call 3 bets with 8, 8, king 7? I mean, neither of them seem like particularly good hands to me. I don't fucking know. I'm not going to criticise anybody because I haven't got a clue myself, really. But it's a nice way to end a video. That's what we do know. So we're going to sit out big blind all tables, and we'll check what's happened to the bankroll. I think we started the session with €110. We certainly made money, assuming that nothing goes horrendously wrong before we end the session. And we only disconnected briefly. That's okay. That would have been disappointing to end the session on a disconnect. That's one down. I mean, these are just some of the crummiest aces imaginable, given what these dudes had just a moment ago. Especially now that neither of them's fully stacked as well. It's just going to be a pretty easy hand to play. I shut my eyes and jam all flops, I guess. Again, same situation last time, second pair and an over pair. Not very confident we got the best hand here, but fuck it. I think we're going to lose this time to somebody somewhere. This guy's got a straight, has he? So this time the dude's called squeezes with deuce 3. Yeah, I mean, pre-flop folding to 3 bets in PLO is not a thing, which makes you wonder, is there an awful lot of value in 3-betting dry aces when you're just going to get in loads of shitty post-up situations like that one. Fortunately, it didn't cost us very much, but yeah, 3-betting dry aces in PLO games where literally nobody folds. I'm not sure it's a good thing, but who knows? Certainly not me. Last hand, 2 kings with the 2 suits. Seems like a pleasant way to end the video. Royal flush draw all of a sudden. And we fill up. So it was a pleasant way to end the video. And let's see. Let's see what we're up to in terms of our chips. We have €68 plus another 64 in play. So that was a plus €22 session. We've added 60 euros to the bankroll since yesterday. So all in all, so far, Operation Unibet is going rather well. Probably won't be a video now for a few days. I'm working tomorrow. I'm going to watch the Super League Grand Final Saturday. Working again Sunday. So Monday is probably, if it's going to be the next video, it's the earliest it's going to be is Monday, possibly later. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. I've certainly enjoyed it. Take care, everybody, and bye bye for now.